All right, are you ready for a brand new DCU update? We've got quite a few pictures to go through and things to talk about today. Some of these things are going to be interconnected, but I'm going to show you all these photos, and then I'm going to wrap up my thoughts at the end. I will make some comments during, but there is one that I'm definitely going to comment on after I am done going through all of the photos. So let's take a look at these. So the first one here is a pretty big one. This has been reported in many places that DC is looking for a Chris Pratt type actor to play Superman. Does that mean he is going to play Superman? No, it does not. People are freaking out thinking that's what they're talking about, and that is most certainly not what they're talking about. James Gunn has made comments in the past that he wants Superman to be a galoot, kind of stupid, ignorant, and they want a Chris Pratt type actor to play that role. Now, James Gunn said one of the reasons he got rid of Henry Cavill was he was too old. Well, Chris Pratt is like 5 years older than Henry Cavill is. So that is not, there's no truth to this at all. And if for some reason they do make Chris Pratt Superman, I think they will destroy this before it even gets off of the ground. I don't think anybody would be interested in seeing that. But, we'll see what happens in the future. So I laughed when I saw this photo. Gunn believes that Marvel finding more success will be good for DC movies. James Gunn, the better Marvel movies do, it's better for DC. How exactly? Now, I did not read this article, but that is a ridiculous statement. I do not believe he has DC in, with their best interest in mind. I still think he's got his foot in Marvel and will continue to do so even though he's the head of DC. But as more time goes on, I do believe that they are being groomed to be sold to Comcast Universal here in the next year and a half. I do not believe that most of these projects are going to come to fruition and that they will be bought by another studio and everything will change once again. All right, now, Shazam! Fury of the Gods did come out on digital last week, and you can see that it debuts at number 3 on the domestic video-on-demand charts, which is weird. This was a movie that just got released about a month ago, and they're already debuting it on digital to get the most sales they could out of it, and it's just not doing well. It was never going to do well. It just shows you that the audience is no longer interested in the DC brand. And for all those people that get on my case and claim I'm not a real DC fan, I did go see this. How many of you went and saw it? Why did it do so bad? Where are all the true DC fans? I'm told I'm not a true DC fan. Where are all the true DC fans out there? Where are you? The movies are calling for you. It's nothing other than just people spouting and being frankly stupid and not understanding the damage that Warner Brothers has done to the brand. So now we have this little article here that was posted. It said an unexpected clash could be in Superman's future. 25 DCU Chapter 1 projects are in mind. New details per report. Yeah, this has to do with him having to fight the Authority and making them kind of the bad guys. Again, I don't expect most of these projects even to happen. I don't know. They may have a small plan, but it's not really anything amazing, and I just don't know if this stuff is even going to be made. I'm real skeptical that Superman is even going to make money. I'm guessing it's not going to. Now, a lot of people are telling me, give it a chance. Yeah, if it's good, I'm going to admit it's good, but I'm not expecting it to be good, and there's nothing pointing to the fact that it's going to be good. Like, they have a lot to prove, especially James Gunn, that he is going to make a worthy Superman film. I just don't see that in the cards. But if I'm wrong, I will totally admit it. Now, this is interesting. Right now, you have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 coming out here in about 3 weeks. And right now, the Sell the Snyderverse to Netflix campaign is receiving 3 times the amount of buzz that Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is, which is phenomenal. This was posted by Snyder Queen and Geekosity Mag. They've been championing this, and it is getting more buzz. You can actually do the research on this, and you'll see that it is doing way better than Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy. I think James Gunn has lost a lot of favor from a lot of fans. Now, this one's interesting. It says Fandom Wire did a report showing how Warner Brothers is still haunted by a fan base they turn their backs on. If they want us gone, then sell Snyderverse to Netflix. Warner Brothers urged not to sacrifice Snyderverse for James Gunn's vision, which is a no-brainer. If they want to appease everybody in the DC fandom, they should finish out the Snyder storyline and let Gunn do his thing. But see, they'll never do that because Gunn is egotistical and he can't stand it when the Snyder stuff gets more buzz than his stuff does. And that's going to tie into one of the pictures coming up. Again, here's another post that talks about how Snyderverse to Netflix tops Guardians 3 on Twitter. Again, Geekoxity. That's that same article. So here's the big one of the day. There's a couple pictures I'm going to show you after this, but I am going to turn, when I'm done showing you the pictures, I am going to go back to the video, and I'm going to talk about this one specifically. So the CinemaCon is on April 25th, the CinemaCon is going to be showing The Flash. And we're going to talk about the interesting timing of this and what this actually means. So here's another interesting one that I don't believe. I do fully expect this is actually going to happen, but the actor is denying this. Grant Gustin says he will not be in the Flash movie, even though they already did a crisis event on TV and did have Ezra Miller in it. I don't believe that he's not in it. We've had other movies in the past where actors said they were not in it, and there were, some pretty famous cameos expected to be in there that would help the movie, and they've denied being in there, and in fact, we're in there. So I do expect Grant Gustin to be in there. If he's not, I think that is a massive missed opportunity, but we'll hear some more reports coming out of April 25th. Now, this one's interesting. It says, Blue Beetle will reportedly be incorporated into James Gunn's DCU via Deadline. So what's interesting about this is James Gunn already said this could easily be part of his DCU, that Aquaman 2 and this were kind of easily incorporated into his universe going forward if they so please it, and want it. What's interesting about this is after he made that comment with his initial video, there was no talk about it until this trailer got a lot of buzz, a lot of positive buzz, and now because it's doing so well, they may want to incorporate it into his DCU. And I guarantee you James Gunn is going to take credit for this if it does well when it has absolutely nothing to do with him. So let's talk about all of these, well, not all of the photos. I covered kind of what I wanted to with each of the photos, but let's talk about the CinemaCon with The Flash coming up on April 25th. Some people think this means something in restoring the Snyderverse, and I do not. I think it's just the opposite. They know how big Warner Brothers, and specifically James Gunn, knows how popular the Snyderverse is, and they want to take the limelight away from that event. And I think by releasing, showing The Flash at this thing just mere less than 5 days or so before, well, just days actually, before the Snyder event, they're trying to take the buzz from it. That's all this is. This is their side saying, we can't let this happen. We need to be the talk on the internet. And we're going to see what they'll let people talk about after this is done. I don't know who goes to the CinemaCon. Hopefully it's not just people who've been paid off to say the movie's fantastic. I want to hear some real things about this film and what people think about it and how it's going to treat what has come before. It's gone through so many changes and so many reshoots and other things and rewrites that who knows whether this is going to be a good movie or not. I don't think that this means anything in restoring the Snyderverse. Again, I think it's just the studio posturing and trying to make their side seem better than the other side. And I think that's all it is. I don't see it being anything other than that just because of how egotistical that James Gunn actually is, even though this isn't his movie either. A lot of people get on my page and tell me that Gunn has nothing to do with these films. And you're right, he doesn't, but you can't let him take credit when it does well. But you could definitely give him credit when it does bad because his everything since he's taken over and fired Cavill, the movies have flopped. Nobody has interest. They just don't care. People just don't care anymore. And it's sad to see with the DC brand because of what they've done. But until I think everybody just gets replaced and somebody else takes over, Zaslav was hopefully going to be something worth, he talked, he did a good, he talked the talk, but he's not walking the walk now. And I'm really not happy as a fan. I'm not satisfied with anything that's going on right now. I'll be grateful for what we've had in the past, but this Snydercon event is going to be telling. I really do hope that the Snyderverse will live on. We'll see what happens in the future. We've got to keep up the pressure on the studios and on social media. So everybody that's definitely a part of these campaigns, please continue to do what you're doing. Don't let people put you down. I've stopped reading the negative comments altogether on Twitter. There's just a massive amount of it, and you have to ignore that stuff. It's nothing other than white noise. Continue to do what you're doing, and hopefully we'll get something more positive in the future. All right, we will see you on the next update.